turd. You're a fucking turd, and no one likes you. And no one likes you. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, not a fan of this film. Not a fan of this film at all. I really do like and Hot Tub Time Machine. I think this is a great film for what it is. This is a piece of shit. This movie pretty much does this. This movie does this to this movie. That's what this movie does to the first Hot Tub Time Machine. It slaps it in the fucking face, in the balls, punches it in the taint. It just beats the ever-loving shit out of it and then takes a piss on it. It fucking ruins the first movie with shitty off-screen bullshit, like with stuff with John Cusack's character, with him and April. They were a great sweet couple. Oh, in the future they break up and Adam's an asshole. Great. Wonderful. Lou doesn't learn shit and becomes an even bigger asshole than he was in the first movie. Great. Clark Gregg Jacob becomes an unlikable asshole. Great. Craig Robinson, okay, he's still, I guess, somewhat likable. Nick's somewhat likable, but that's really about it when it comes to the characters. What the hell is Russ Weekland smoking? One of the funniest movies of all time? And what the fuck is Hollywood Life? I've never heard of Hollywood Life. What is that? What is that? Some website that nobody fucking goes to? Is that a magazine that is only published in fucking Ecuador? Who the fuck? What is Hollywood Life? I saw the unrated version. I've seen the theatrical version. Both versions suck. There's one version in the unrated version, I think, where John Cusack shows up, and he's the one that, spoiler, blows Lou's head off. A different Lou. And says, like, that's for Cincinnati or some shit. It doesn't fucking matter, because it doesn't save the fucking movie. This is a perfect example of a film that should not have been made. Hot Tub Time Machine didn't need a sequel. It was fine as a one-off. It did not need a sequel. And this is a perfect prime example of that. And I only have this, thanks to a good friend of mine, Corey, who, you know, thanks. I mean, he's done a lot for me. He sent me a bunch of really fantastic gifts, and I can't thank him enough for that. You know, for autographs, for an autographed prop of the stuff, autographed by Larry Cohen. You know, he sent me American Sniper, which I actually do like. I like that film, so I do appreciate that. And he sent me a few other stuff, and more autographs, and, you know, he's a really nice guy, and I guess he wanted to know my thoughts on this, but I don't like this movie. I watched this with my mom and my stepdad, and we all didn't like it. My mom was like, after it was over, that was a terrible movie. I'm glad I didn't have to pay money for that. But anyway, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. Oh my god. This might be like one of the shortest rant videos I've ever fucking done. I'm absolutely serious. It's directed by Steve Pink, which I can't believe it's the same director. It's like he lost all of the energy and passion that he displayed in the first film. It's completely gone here. This film just looks and feels like a cash grab. It has no soul. It's written by Josh Held. What the hell, Josh? Was it Josh Held who was the one who was responsible for the good writing in the first film, or the other two writers? It features cinematography by Declan Quinn, completely forgettable. Christoph Beck delivers some music that I don't remember. The soundtrack choices, for the most part, the music choices in this sucked. Unlike the first film, it didn't have any good actual soundtrack music to look forward to or listen to. Some really annoying, terrible, like, dubstep shit. Rob Corddry returns as Lou Dorchin. Craig Robinson plays Nick Weber. Clark Duke plays Jacob. Adam Scott is your newcomer, playing Adam Yates Stedmeyer, who's Adam's son. And he's fucking awful. He is atrocious. His performance is one of the worst I've ever seen in a film, period. It is so fucking bad. I mean, maybe it's the material he's given, because he's supposed to be just basically this straight guy who has this annoying lovey-dovey relationship with his fiance, who, you know, where she's all like, "Oh, I love you too." It was so cringing. It was so cringe-inducing. It was so much cringe. I wanted to just reach my hands in the screen and just slam their heads together and knock them both out so they'd shut the fuck up and stop with their "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." So, Adam Scott, like I said, he's trying to be a deadpan guy. Maybe he's trying to be the Chevy Chase or something, but he's fucking terrible. He can't act, and it's just an absolutely awful performance. And it's one of the worst things about this really worthless, shitty, piss poor, fucking awful movie. Chevy Chase is in it. Looking more than a few pounds heavier as the hot tub repairman. Doesn't add anything to the film. Gillian Jacobs plays Jill, who I believe is Adam Yates's fiance. Colette Wolfe plays Kelly again. And she has this thing where she talks to Lou, where she just like tells him in a loving tone. I guess it's supposed to be, "I fucking hate you, Lou." Yeah, that sums up this movie. "I fucking hate you, Hot Tub Time Machine 2." But anyway, shit. You also have like Christian Slater, who like plays a game show host of this stupid game called Choosy Doozy. Lisa Loeb plays herself because I guess all that Nick Webber can do in the future is continue to rip off other people's songs. It's supposed to be really funny too, because he rips off Lisa Loeb's song, "Stay," I believe. I think that's what it's called. So anyway, the basic gist of the plot, here it is. I guess 5 years after the first film, Lou Dorchin and Nick Webber become rich and famous, with Lou becoming a multi-billionaire and Nick becoming a popular music singer. At Lou's celebratory party, Lou is shot in the groin. Yeah, he gets shot in the ball, shot in the dick. Remember when he said, like, "Man, you know, if I was going to commit suicide, I'd shoot myself in the dick." See, remember? They even have like another. Nick mentions the Terminator again. He breaks the fourth wall and says the title of the movie again. But it's just they're repeating these same jokes that worked in the first film, but they don't work here because it's just deja vu, and it's bad deja vu. It's like a bad acid flashback, and so they're rich. Lou gets shot in the dick, which I don't care because he's a fucking asshole in this movie. Jacob, Lou's son, and Nick then drag him to the hot tub time machine and activate in order to travel back in time to find and stop the killer. When they wake up, they find themselves 10 years into the future. Everything looks normal for the most part, except for stupid shit like a dog flying on a skateboard that flies. Oh, a dog flying on a hoverboard. Hilarious? A fucking car that has feelings. I'm not making this shit up. It's a car that drives itself and has feelings. A car with feelings! Yeah, the feelings, that's making me feel something, alright. But fucking anger and fury. A car with feelings is just stupid! Anyway, really, it's so fucking stupid. It's shit. God. I mean, this was 10 times worse than I thought it was going to be. I didn't like the trailers. I didn't think any of them were funny, and then I saw the actual film, and I don't think I maybe I smirked a couple times. Maybe there's a couple one-liners that I might have kind of chuckled at, but I don't remember them. There was stuff from the first movie I still remember. I don't remember a single fucking thing from this movie other than stupid shit and like really bad gross out humor. So anyway, fucking cars with feelings. So in the future, where the cars with feelings and dogs that fly around on hoverboards, and it's a future where the most popular game show is some stupid show called Choosy Doozy, hosted by Christian Slater, which is sad. I'm like, "Christian Slater, what are you doing? You were in Broken Arrow." I said, "God damn, Hale! What are you doing? God damn." But anyway, they're in the future, 10 years into the future. They go to their friend Adam Yates' home to meet his son Adam Yates. Stedmeyer, played by Adam Scott. who's engaged to a girl named Jill. Lou then inspects rival Gary Winkle as a killer. However, he learns that Gary actually made off his own fortune off of some land Lou could have bought. And this is a character who's nowhere to be found in the first film. He just randomly shows up in this movie. Like, he's always been Lou's friend, but he's nowhere to be found in the first movie. This is one of those sequels that pulls characters that are somewhat related to our main characters out of their ass for the sequel. They then party at Gary's nightclub, where Adam Jr. takes hallucinogens for the first time, which is Electric Ladybug, and you have the lamest fucking trip-out sequence ever. I mean, this is full of cheap-ass CGI. It's not even memorable. It's nothing cool. It's nothing like, the 21 Jump Street trip-out stuff. Here it's just like, oh, Adam Scott is like, making doofy faces in front of a shitty green screen effect. Then his head turns a bunch of ladybugs, or ladybugs show up, and shitty CGI ladybugs bite his head off. He multiplies himself a bunch of times. That's really about it. That's it. That's all your acid trip is. It's all your drug trip sequences. It's one of the worst drug trip sequences I've ever seen. It might be the worst drug trip sequence I've ever seen. But that's a lame-ass trip. So anyway, the next day, they attend a popular television game show, Choosy Doozy, where a contestant Nick is required to have virtual reality sex with a man, because Lou put that in the voting pool. Because it's like, fuck a dude! You're like, ha 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 ha. And then as Lou suggested the idea, he's obligated to participate, but he uses his lifeline to switch with Adam Jr., and Jacob then becomes frustrated with the shenanigans and leaves the group to get wasted at Gary's club, and then tries to commit suicide by jumping off a building. Lou makes amends with him and prevents his suicide. And you think, like, that's the moment where he'd stop being an asshole, right? No, he's still a fucking dick. He's still unlikable. And even though he did that, it still doesn't make him a likable character. It's like they ramped up Lou's assholeness to 11 in this movie. And it was just not the right thing to do. It wasn't funny. You just hated him. You just wanted to punch him in the face. You didn't give a shit if he lived or died. You wanted to shoot him in the dick again, and then shoot him in the head, so he'd stay dead. So the guys then see a news report where Brad, an employee of Lugal, invents nitrotrinidium, the ingredient that activates the hot tub time machine. They suspect he is the killer. And all of this stupid shit. Oh, it's this guy did it, blah, 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 this guy. I don't give a shit about this whodunit. I don't fucking care. Because I don't care about trying to save Lou. I don't give a shit about what's going on. I'm bored out of my fucking mind here. This is one of the most boring, unfunny comedies I've ever seen. So anyway, they try to find the killer. They find out that the guy they thought it was the killer, the guy who invented the nitrogen is not, Brad is not the killer, but he invented the chemical after being inspired by Lou's words. Joseph said about Adam Jr.'s partying and had sex with Lou, but when Adam Jr. finds out, he steals the nitrotrinidium and goes back to the past. And Jacob and Nick and Lou return to the mansion, but they're too late to stop Adam Jr. as the guys sit in hopelessness. Jacob realizes because the chemical appeared in the past and now exists in the future, so they return to the present to stop Adam Jr. from shooting Lou after Lou apologizes to him. Following this, Nick apologizes to Courtney as Lou tells his wife that he wants a rehab from his drug addiction. Adam Jr. meets Jill for the first time. The more confident Jacob approaches Sophie, his girlfriend in the future, convinces her to join a relationship, which even for a fantasy, comedy, sci-fi movie, it's completely unrealistic that Jacob, of all people, is going to get this hot catch and this hot piece of ass. And so, that's one of the most laughable things out of the entire movie. That made me laugh harder than anything in the film. Then Jacob got that sweet piece of ass. So anyway, Lou, Nick, Jacob, and Adam Jr. then return to the hot tub. Lou's is shot in the head by Lou, or Adam Sr. in the R-rated version. Yeah, shot in the head by John Cusack. But in the theatrical version, it's Lou in a Minuteman costume. And Patriot Lou informs there are multiple Lou's anyway and invites them to make America happen. And during the closing credits, the guys are seen exploiting the time machine to change history. Which is... They didn't learn anything! It seemed like the whole point of the film was like, hey, we need to learn to be ourselves, and we need to learn to stop, relying on the time machine for financial gain, and so forth and so on. So we prevent ourselves from being embarrassed like Nick Webber, where he's now a joke. Because, like, do the Webber strut, because he tried to do a song that wasn't a song that he ripped off. He tried to do his own song. It was some shitty song called the Webber strut that destroyed his career. And that's the whole message. Be yourself, you know, do the right thing. And then at the end of the fucking movie, they're all changing history. Set to this shitty remix of the song that they sang in the movie that's supposed to be so hilarious, where it's like, talking to Jacob, and it's like, nerd, you're a fucking nerd, and no one likes you. So that's really that's what it is. It's a fucking turd, and no one likes it, and no one likes it. So yeah, I really don't know what to say about Hot Tub Time Machine 2. If it's rated out of 5 stars, it gets 0. It gets a goose egg. It gets a fucking middle finger. It's a cock gobbler. From now on, any movie that gets a rating that's a 0, it's a cock gobbler. It gobbles up your cock and it spits it back out right in your face. Fuck this movie. It's a lazy, half-assed cash grab that has no soul, no laughs. It takes place in the future, and it's one of the most boring, generic, shitty, forgettable-looking futures I've ever seen in a film. It's a waste of space. It's a waste of time. It should have never been made. I really, honestly, I wish I had a hot tub time machine so I could go back in time and stop this fucking abomination from being created and released in the first place. Fuck Hot Tub Time Machine 2. It's worse than Electric Boogaloo.